Hello, everyone. I'm back. I believe this should be number 3, episode 3 that's making it onto YouTube. There was kind of a situation happen. But yeah, so I'm just welcome back. I'm gonna be reviewing my thoughts. See how they fare and see let's see what they have to say. I always kind of like to go into these with an open mind and you know. Uh, so far, they haven't had any terrible things, but you never know with people you just see online, right? So let's check it out. This one looks kind of short, 30 seconds. So. I believe that things nowadays. Okay, I'm just gonna say that I don't necessarily like the beliefs. I think the last few they said like, oh, I think. This one's kind of believing. So already, I feel like we're not in a very factual territory. So this is probably not. This is not gonna be. Anyways. Wait, I kind of forgot what they said. Things. Sorry, I gotta let them play. I believe that things nowadays require far more signatures or authorizations in order for. Yeah. Okay, I agree. 100%. Them to be deemed. Bro, you can't do again anything these days. And I'm not gonna say that you could do them at some point. Like, I mean, you could always have done them, and you still can. But the perceived repercussions of things happening right now is so much deeper than it used to be. So like it boils down to people just don't think they can get away with it anymore, but they used to think that they could. And the odds are that's probably true. I think a lot of people can't get away with as much stuff, but like, you mean you can get away with anything if you really want to, right? But I think that back then, the it was easier to justify, craziness or whatever. But and yeah, people are afraid of being. Anyways, okay, let's see what this is. I agree though. Acceptable or appropriate, and things that are deemed acceptable and appropriate are therefore popular. I think I do agree with this. I think this does make sense, but I wish they would have mentioned how, like, here, I'm gonna like listen to the words very carefully, okay? And things that are deemed acceptable and appropriate are therefore popular. The things that are deemed acceptable and appropriate. I think the if you look up the definition of acceptable and appropriate, this doesn't make sense, right? But I think that what they should have kind of talked about, and I think what they're getting at, based on the other kind of point, is that the idea of appropriateness and that perception of that is being changed and redefined. So if you understand, and I guess that I think that, I don't know if this person does, but I think that the popularity is based on what we've all defined as this new version of appropriate. So I feel like it's becoming a stereotype, and like it's becoming boring at this point, frankly. But I always bring up the example of the 9/11 attacks, how we've all kind of decided as a community, like, oh, this is comedy, and now that's considered appropriate, and then because that's appropriate, then it's become popular. So it's obviously about many things. That's just such a visceral example in my case, for my age, as someone who experienced those attacks, not firsthand, but through radio and on the day of it. Anyways, you're consumed without thought. Everyone knows that. We all agree it, and we all do it, and we all agree that, and that's probably something that we've all. Wait a minute. Let's go back to that. This is actually kind of a trippy one. Okay, wait. Thought. Appropriate, therefore popular. Consumed without thought. Okay, so that's interesting because what is popular, which is true, is consumed without thought, which is true. But we all are aware that there are people out there and ourselves that consumes things without thinking. And I think that that's one of the things that we've made appropriate and reasonable. And now that that's reasonable, then that's become popular. And now this is a very, very fast moving cycle that you've just engaged in. It's like a cat and buttered toast, you know. Okay, you can tell this one traumatizes them. I mean, it traumatizes me too. I think it traumatizes a lot of us living in this age. Yeah, okay, this was a really good thought. I would say this one's like high 8. I mean, I'm not doing the halves. It's high 8, so it gets rounded to a 9. Maybe I need to do the halves because the point system, because if I'm going to be, I can't just be rounding, especially on a bell curve. Okay, yeah, this is an 8-8. This is an 8-8. 8.8. Okay. Thanks for watching. Take care.